Both parents abandoned me to have their separate happy families. Now they want me back, but I hate them. My parents choose their new families over me, so I moved in with my aunt. Now they want back in, but I hate them. So I, 16 female, moved in with my aunt at 15 because my parents remarried and had new families. My father married his mistress who already had a son, and now they have a baby daughter. My mom remarried my stepdad and they had my half-sister. After all that, I became a secondary character in their lives, and they looked forward to ship me off to the other home so they could pretend that I didn't exist and play happy family. After a year, I became fed up and started sleeping over more and more at other houses. And when home, I would never interact with anyone. Both my parents took that as a rebellious phase and would fight with me all the time. I wasn't a bad kid or a troublemaker, but soon I was labeled as the black sheep of the family. Every interaction with my parents became a lecture about my attitude problem and how well the other kids behaved. I was just so fed up that I packed my things and disappeared for a few days. I took a bus and went to MIA for 4 days. Of course, the police was called, and when I appeared again, I got hit another lecture. We got in a screaming match where they called me a disappointment, and I told them I hated them. I called my aunt crying and she came to fetch me. In the car, I could hear how she was tearing my parents a new one. Neither of them tried to convince me of coming back home. We informed the respective authorities about my changed living condition, and my aunt is my current guardian. My parents were half-baked with our contacts, appearing only when it was convenient, sometimes giving me money, etc. Recently, they tried to build more contact up, but I was not interested. I won a story writing contest and didn't tell them, nor did I invite them to the celebration. And on the website where you can read my story, the thanks goes to my aunt for loving me unconditionally. I didn't invite my parents to my sweet 16 party. Basically, I have cut them out of my life. I am not interested in their lives or families or anything. Mom tried to meet up for my birthday, but we didn't. She got upset and called me crying, and I just didn't care. It was like listening to a TV character cry. It wasn't important. She isn't important to me anymore. Dad called me and said he was worried about me and how my reaction is not healthy. And again, I didn't care. As far as I am concerned, my aunt is my only parent. She encourages that I build up my relationship to my parents again, but doesn't force me. Anyway, yesterday my parents pulled me out of school and invited me to eat at our old favorite place. Mom had tears in her eyes and even Dad seemed hurt. They tried apologizing for their behavior and pleaded with me to come back, and I just said no and left. I still resent them for choosing a new life over me. But I don't know if I am being a petty asshole or what to do now. I don't want them in my life, but would I be making the right choice? I don't know. Edit. Because people think I just made it up. And I am a moody teen. You know when you're at a friend's house where their parents don't particularly like you and you feel tense all the time and you feel like you shouldn't be there? That was the feeling I constantly had at their houses. I know that my stepfather doesn't like me that much. My parents would both fight about who keeps me longer, but not in the sense I want to have her longer. But I took her last weekend. It's your turn. Also, planning fun activities for the day after I leave. My father and his wife would often schedule visits to the parks or bigger trips, specifically to the weeks my mother had me, and my mother and her husband would leave me alone at home so they could go out with the baby. Every chance they got, they would ship me up to grandma's or my aunt's place with some excuse, and then do family stuff. Also, when you went through the houses, there were barely any pictures of me. They had big portraits of my siblings and them together, but almost none of mine. They shipped me off to my grandma's and grandpa's for a whole summer and only called twice. When there are family functions, I am often excluded. Like my dad had a family barbecue and didn't invite me. They forgot my birthday on more than one occasion, and when they remembered, they got me a $10 Starbucks gift card, even when they know I don't like Starbucks. So no, they never straight up said it, but they didn't hide it either.